Now, this story actually happened a while ago, but we're just now getting some resolution. And I've told people that when you ask for a follow up with certain stories, some of these things can actually take a year, could take a couple of years, or maybe even longer than that in order for us to get justice in a lot of these cases. So sometimes you'll look a story up and there have been no updates because there's been nothing that has been active as far as the adjudication system. But in this case, this 36-year-old mother out of Colorado will spend several decades behind bars for what she did. But before we even get to the details, because I know some people might be sensitive to this type of content, and you might find my content controversial or offensive, the information is coming, in this case, from lawandcrime.com, so thank you for the article. But also getting some information from records, court records, official police charges, news websites, and interviews. The video commentary also contains my personal opinion about the facts of the story. The point is to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. So there's no need to get mad about anything that I say now that you know what you're here for. She's 36 years old, out of Colorado, and she'll spend the next several decades behind bars for exposing her two young children to dangerously extreme cold temperatures that ended up killing one of her kids and leaving her other child permanently maimed. Had to have two legs amputated. It is so sad. And I'm going to tell y'all, when y'all see that little girl right there, I couldn't even, matter of fact, I think I did just show a picture of the other child. But when you see the laugh and the energy of this little girl, man, it's just really heartbreaking that her life was changed to this extreme. Moffat County District Judge Sandra H. Gardner on Wednesday ordered Kaylee Ann Meserly, who was the biological mother, to serve a sentence of 26 years in prison, prosecutors confirmed at lawandcrime.com. A county jury in June found Meserly guilty on one count of felony child abuse resulting in death and one felony child abuse resulting in the serious bodily injury for knowingly or recklessly causing the death of her 18-month-old daughter and causing catastrophic injuries to her 3-year-old daughter. Judge Gardner's sentence breakdown requires Meserly to serve 16 years in prison for the abuse resulting in the death charge and 10 years in prison on the abuse resulting in bodily injury charge. Sorry, I read that improperly. To be served consecutively, not concurrent, but consecutive. Good job on that. One right after another, not one on top of each other. So not concurrent, consecutively. Meserly will also be required to serve an additional 5 years of probation following her release. According to a press release from the Moffat County Sheriff's Office, deputies at approximately 8 a.m. on March the 11th of 2021 were notified about a suspicious vehicle near County Road 54 in a remote and unincorporated part of the county. The office noted that it was particularly suspicious because the road is not frequently traveled in the winter months. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders located the vehicle on a service road and found that it was unoccupied and appeared stuck in mud or snow. A hasty search for the vehicle's occupants was initiated, but no one was immediately found, and additional personnel and resources were dispatched to the area. Assisted by Moffat County Search and Rescue and an aerial unit provided by Mountain Air Spray, deputies were able to locate Meserly, the mom, and the two children approximately 1 mile away from the vehicle. Meserly and the 3-year-old were found alive, suffering from environmental exposure injuries, and the 1-year-old was found deceased. Meserly and the 3-year-old were immediately transported to a tracked utility terrain vehicle to an EMS ambulance, which brought them to Memorial Regional Health Hospital. The surviving child was then transported via airlift to Children's Hospital, Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus in Aurora. That is a tongue twister. Anyway, according to a report from the Craig Daily Press, Meserly's 18-year-old daughter named Emma She was found approximately 130 yards away from Meserly and the 3-year-old, whose name is Alina. The child was reportedly wearing a jacket but did not have any socks, shoes, or head covering on. An autopsy reportedly determined that Emma died sometime overnight between March the 9th and March the 10th due to hypothermia. Upon arriving at Children's Hospital, doctors reportedly had to amputate both of Alina's feet due to severe frostbite. The child also reportedly tested positive for methamphetamine, as did the mother, Meserly. Meth head. According to the copy of a probable cause affidavit obtained by KUSA, doctors said Alina had one, if not the worst, case of frostbite ever seen at Children's Hospital. At the hospital, Meserly reportedly claimed that if she or either of her children tested positive for meth, it was because they ate snow near a methane well. During the trial, prosecutors reportedly showed that Meserly had multiple items in the car, including additional clothing that could have helped the children in the extreme cold. Meserly also allegedly admitted that she had been using meth right before her car got stuck, something that prosecutors argue contributed greatly to what took place. Taking into account her decisions, it's blameworthy without the admission of methamphetamine use. But when you add in the use of meth during the event, the culpability rises and the blameworthiness rises, according to Assistant District Attorney Matthew I cannot say his last name. TJOS Vold, V-O-L-D, reportedly said during a sentencing hearing, Kaylee Meserly placed those children in those circumstances while under the influence of methamphetamines. A person in those circumstances not under the influence would have made different decisions. I cannot say his name. T. Josvold also reportedly emphasized that Meserly was well aware that her car was unreliable, saying that she needed to be told several months earlier when she was with the kids, both of whom were not properly dressed for the cold. Meserly chose not to address the court, but Judge Gardner reportedly castigated her for not taking full responsibility for her actions, which played a prominent role in Gardner choosing to impose the sentences consecutively instead of concurrently. Like I said earlier, that's perfect. I think they did it right. Miss Meserly still believes that she did nothing wrong, even in the midst of her kid being dead and another one who now has almost no legs. You just can't be that level of dumb. And the fact that she went to court, this has been a year that's passed. You don't have the meth in your system anymore, and she still feels like she did nothing wrong. That's why I believe she got so many years, because this woman is just another level of dumb. And she's selfish. I find it to be a very, very alarming state of mind, according to the Moffat County Sheriff's Office. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Couple of news videos. Here we go. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I have never heard of people eating snow and getting meth or methane in their system. What? I've never heard of nothing like that. But if you guys are listening, do me a favor, click that thumbs up. You'll definitely want to see these news videos real quick. If you would, that'll share this video. Let more people know that we're talking about this. All right, here we go.
A Moffat County mother is under arrest in connection with the death of her youngest daughter. In March, during a snowstorm, sheriff's deputies found 36-year-old Kaylee Meserly's empty car stuck in mud and snow on a road not traveled much in winter. She and her two daughters were spotted from aircraft a mile from that car. The 18-month-old was declared dead on scene. Messerly and her 3-year-old were hospitalized with exposure-related injuries. Alina, the 3-year-old, lost both of her legs below the knee. Now, this is a picture the family shared with us. Messerly is facing 2 charges of child abuse resulting in death and injury.
Right now, an update to a story we've been following since last year. A mother convicted of child abuse after exposing her kids to dangerously cold temperatures in the backcountry. She has now been sentenced. Kaylee Messerly got 16 years with time served for child abuse causing death. She also got 10 years for child abuse causing serious bodily injury. Messerly and her daughters got stuck in the mud on a county road in Moffat County. It was in March 2021. Rescuers found them a mile from their car. Her 18-month-old daughter, Emma Smith, died. 3-year-old Alina had her legs amputated. Messerly was arrested. She tested positive for meth at the time. A 3-year-old girl is making a courageous recovery after she, her sister, and mother were all found in March lost in the high country. They were stranded in the bitter cold of Moffat County in northwestern Colorado. The sister died. The mother was arrested and tested positive for drug use. Well, CBS 4's Rick Salinger met that surviving girl and her dad, who was still trying to make sense out of what happened.
Her name is Elena. Hard to believe, smiling now after all she has been through.
We told her her sister died, and she'd be like, Sissy died. And then another time she'd be like, what's Sissy doing?
Her father, Dave Smith, is caring for her now. It was March when Elena, her sister, and mother were discovered here in the wilderness of Moffat County, their car stuck in the mud. They spent 2 nights in the frigid cold, suffering from severe frostbite. They were near but did not use a heated pump house. Elena survived, but both of her legs had to be partially amputated. Her 1.5-year-old sister, Emma, was found deceased, without shoes, socks, or a hat. Their mother, Kaylee Messerly, was located near their car. She told deputies they had been looking for rocks. She tested positive for several drugs.
She said she was looking for rocks? Like crack rocks? Let me back this up. Let me let y'all hear that again. She was looking for rocks, like regular rocks?
Their mother, Kaylee Messerly, was located near their car. She told deputies they had been looking for rocks. She tested positive for several drugs. Was located near their car. She told deputies they had been looking for rocks. She told deputies they had been looking for rocks.
Rides? Y'all think that's what they're saying? Looking for rides, R-I-D-E-S or R-O-C-K-S? That sounded like rocks. Looking for they were in the middle of nowhere. Even the people that live in that area said that nobody really drives down that road at all under normal circumstances. I'm gonna let it play again, and y'all tell me if you think he said rides, R-I-D-E-S, or rocks, R-O-C-K-S.
Her 1.5-year-old sister, Emma, was found deceased without shoes, socks, or a hat. Their mother, Kaylee Messerly, was located near their car. She told deputies they had been looking for rocks. She tested positive for several drugs.
Maybe it was like some kind of suicidal thing.
That, he says, goes back to another incident.
She was telling him like she didn't want to be here no more and saying stuff like that, and, like, saying she'd take her kids with her.
He says when Elena was born, she had meth in her system.
That is a beautiful little girl, man, and I just don't understand how you can have kids and then just treat them like shit. I don't understand that. Y'all look at this little girl's energy. She still seems like a happy, joyful little girl. Happy to be alive. Happy to be around her dad. She seems like a happy kid. Even in the midst of going through something this traumatic and losing her sister and legs.
Saying she'd take her kids with her.
He says when Elena was born, she had meth in her system. The Sheriff's Department says Human Services did not file a neglect report. It would not comment. But now this 3-year-old is making a comeback and is being fitted for artificial legs.
She's in high spirits though. Other than that, like she does really good. She's regular 3-year-old.
For Smith, taking care of his daughter means he's unable to work on his construction job.
Yeah, life's hard now. Now that everything's changed, everything's upside down, kind of. I'm good.
Now, I want y'all to remember how in the previous story we talked about the people who had collected 12,000 out of the $10,000 that they were asking to bury a child and put that into a burial fund. Now, I don't know how straight and narrow this individual is, this father. We really don't know. Because usually when you have sex with a meth head, I think those like meth and meth usually go together. Like maybe he did a little bit of it too. I don't know that, but I'm just speculating. Usually meth heads flock together. And I'm not calling him that, but I'm just saying I'd be willing to take a risk on him. The fact that this man can't work the same way that he did before. He can't go work 40, 45, 50, 60 hours a week, knowing that he's got a daughter to take care of. And now his daughter has some additional special needs. In a situation like this, why can't we put a GoFundMe into the living child who's absolutely going to need it and can feel your blessings right now? See what I'm saying? We could put those finances into making their life a little more accommodable, not only for him, for that house, for his bills that he's going to have, to take care of his baby who is now alive, and she can feel your blessings and she can feel how much you care about her. She could actually hear it, and that doesn't affect anything that has to do with her legs or anything like that. I think that little girl is going to be absolutely fine. But I think this would be a perfect situation if we were ever going to put up a GoFundMe. Let's put it. And matter of fact, even I got to give a shout out to Tommy for this because I know he put this information out there first where I got it from. Statistically, single fathers do very well when they have their children. Statistically. They do very well when they are the sole custodial parents. So just knowing that information alone, it's like betting on black. You can bet in this situation that if you help him scratch his back, he's going to return that favor and benefit his daughter.
Used to everything now, like everything's going to be different.
While Kaylee faces charges of child abuse resulting in death, Smith fears she will put up a fight for custody of their daughter who managed to survive. Rick Salinger, covering Colorado First.
CBS 4 did reach out to Kaylee Messerly, who said reporters are telling lies. She promised to call us back, but did not.
Yeah, that's because she's in jail now for a bundle of years, rightfully so. So somebody in the chat actually corrected, so thank you, L.A. Leggett, said rocks were for putting under the tires to get unstuck. And I appreciate you pointing that out because I kept thinking rocks for what? So maybe she was trying to get unstuck, but I think an even better question, and I definitely thank you for your contribution. So I want to say thank you for that. And that's also an excellent way, if y'all guys want to see your message get highlighted. Super easy way to show some support for the show is to send a super chat. Where was she going to go if she got unstuck? Where was she on her way to? She wanted to find some rocks on the ground to get unstuck, probably to go find some real rocks to smoke on. Probably find some more meth. There was absolutely no good reason for her to be driving down a road that nobody drives down, for her to be high out of her mind, and to have both of those kids. And it's freezing cold outside. And even when you got the kids out of the car that could have kept them warm and kept them alive and kept them in better condition, you took them out with no clothes on, basically. when they actually had additional clothes in the vehicle. I think they got this right as far as her sentencing. And like I said, I don't know if she's ever going to learn, but it don't sound like she's taking no accountability. But like I said, maybe she'll learn that in the next 25 years. Maybe she'll learn to be accountable for her stupid choices, ending one of her children's life and permanently maiming this beautiful little girl's life, okay? But thank you guys so much for listening to this story. It's partially a positive story. We do have one child that survived and one child that can still grow up and become something great. Pray for the father, and I hope that he can get the help that he needs, and maybe people will jump on board and support him. The same way that they support these deceased children, let's support one that's actually still alive. All right, thank you.